So I gave up the Audio-Technica AT2020 for this microphone right here, the Presonus Revelator Dynamic. And this thing is really, really nice, and I absolutely love it, but I want to talk you through why I bought it and the differences between the two and kind of, my rationale. By the way, welcome back to the second channel. Check out my main content at youtube.com/Knarfy. So the Presonus Revelator Dynamic, it's a new microphone that recently came out that is a USB dynamic microphone. Now, why is that important? Well, most dynamic microphones that were on the market before the beacon mic and that sort of thing were similar to the Shure SM7B, which is a dynamic microphone that uses XLR. Thankfully, nice thing about dynamic microphones is that you don't need power running over USB or anything to run them. You just need the cable, you can plug it in, and they sort of generate their own signal. But to use a dynamic microphone almost entirely, like you would need an audio interface of some sort to plug that microphone into. Most USB microphones then were like this. These were condenser microphones. They weren't dynamic microphones. Now say, what's the difference between a dynamic microphone and a condenser microphone, Ryan? I don't sound any different. You don't sound any different from what the condenser sounds like. Well, the key things here is that the dynamic microphone is a lot more directional. So it's focusing directly on my mouth and the sound source, as opposed to the condenser microphone, which picks up a lot of extra sound. These things are designed to basically reproduce exactly what they're hearing, and they hear a lot more around them than the dynamic microphone, which is much more tuned towards broadcasting. And, it's very much tuned towards directionality and getting the exact source that's right in front of them. Obviously, there's also construction things within the microphone itself, like how it actually picks up the sound, that all sorts of sound nerds are like, you must talk about this, you have to talk about this, but I'm not going to talk about them because to most people, it doesn't really matter. The point is, and the reason that you would get a dynamic microphone over a condenser microphone is for sound rejection and just that broadcasty sound. Obviously, you can get a bit of a broadcasty sound with the condenser, but these are just generally tuned towards broadcasty. The Presonus Revelator does a really good job. The original Revelator was a condenser microphone, and that was a great microphone. I haven't used it, but it looks great, sounds great. Yeah, solid microphone. This one is dynamic though, so that's just a small difference in the sort of style and the build quality of it. So this thing does it really well, and it does a lot of the same things that a large scale Shure SM7B microphone does, but it does it for a slightly cheaper price, and I don't know, it's a smaller build quality, and it does it over USB, so that's a big perk. So this thing does use USB-C, which is super nice because I was able to use my own cable for it, so I have a nice braided USB-C cable, and it also has zero latency monitoring, so I can actually hear myself in my headphones, which is kind of nice. That's been super nice for streaming and stuff. That's something that I want to use it for more, and it means that I can kind of hear what my audience is hearing a little bit easier than if I was just running it without the headphones, which is still, it works and it sounds okay, but it's just one of those things. It's like, oh, it's nice to have that sort of instant feedback. This had it also, but the headphone jack is here on the microphone on the back of it, which was a little bit hard to get to and weird for me. I don't know. The USB port's down here, and then the headphone jack is there. So I don't know. It just was strange. So I never really used that feature on the AT2020. But on this guy, since they're both kind of in the same spot, I'm able to run the cables the same way and do all the same things. And it's, I don't know, it just worked out really nicely. The other nice thing about this thing being a USB microphone is that the DSP is actually built into the body, which is the digital signal processor, which means that all of the audio signal going in here is automatically processed on the microphone itself, instead of my computer. This is great because it takes off a little extra load from my computer running a compressor or a limiter or whatever it is on the microphone. That is all just now running within the body of the microphone, which is kind of awesome. That's also all controlled via the software that comes with the microphone. Super handy. It took a little bit for me to get used to, but I think it was worth it because it does have a lot of really good aspects to it. And I was able to route things into this software, my OBS software, and actually get some more, I was able to control it more basically. Player, do you like the microphone? What do you think of the microphone? That was so cute. Anyways, I don't know. I gave up this one over this one. And that's kind of a big deal because I've used this thing for the past 6 years. And obviously not this specific one because this is the 2020 special edition one. But I have one right here too. I have two of them. I love this microphone so much that I literally have two of them. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for me to switch to a new mic. But honestly, I saw this online. I saw the features that it had. I saw the functionality that it had. And I was like, all right, that one. I think I bought it within the day that I saw that it came out. And it's literally just because of those features that like the internal DSP, the USB stuff, and it's not the beacon mic. It's got a nice like tried and tested capsule in it. I really like the capsule in this. The beacon mic just doesn't have a great capsule in it. And like, sure, you can use software to make it sound better, but I'd rather have just like a nice capsule out of the box. That sounds better to me. It seems, I would rather invest in nice bass audio quality. So anyways, that being said, this probably wasn't going to answer any questions about how it works or anything like that, but I do recommend it if you are looking for a microphone. This thing is $200, so just keep that in mind. It is a little bit of investment, but to me, and you can hear the sound quality, it does feel worth it. And I'm never going to give this up completely. I will always have one of these with me because these things just sound so good. I don't know why, but these just have such a great, they just have like a really good sound to them, and they're easy to use. They're just plug and play, and they're just great. So good microphones all around. And then this guy, I don't know. I felt like I wanted to up my audio game a little bit, so I went with something that was a little bit more tuned towards that. I don't know. This is really tuned towards like you put it in your computer and you can control kind of how it sounds from there. But this you can like tune how it sounds coming into the computer. It's just a different way of thinking, really. And I just wanted to try it out. And I felt like if it wasn't going to be good, then I can just return it and get all my money back. Anyways, subscribe to the main channel, and I'll see you whatever video that you see me in next. Bye!